yeah,
And
I mean,
that's
I
what
have
that
the whole
costs.
thing and everything. I'm like, okay.
God.
It just seems like a lot of money.
No, it's beyond a lot of money.
Okay, I feel like I'm like sitting on the floor. See, and I feel like I'm sitting high, so if you can. Woo, there we go. I'll go down, you go up. I need to pick up on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like I'm sitting on the ground. Make sure, yeah, so that people can hear you. What was that?
I have not spoken to him.
Oh, I know. Does every city
The
tell
only thing
us?
is, if it starts,
Um,
just can't use it.
Everybody knew that he was gonna be on.
Oh, nope, not that I'm aware of.
Farm fire, that, you know, fatal
Ours was
fire,
live,
Oh,
wiped out about 60 acres.
and you don't have to.
And it
It's not
doesn't
like
take long.
a law or anything.
It's probably
It's
just,
just-
people probably just
Yeah.
requested
Right.
it quite often
Yeah.
because they can't always be here, which
Yeah.
makes sense.
it,
Hi, thank you.
it doesn't take long.
My yard is,
It,
Right.
you can hear it when you walk across
the
it.
dog's gonna like going across it.
I was thinking about that.
Oh, God. Yeah, depending how high, depending how high you mow, your
Yeah.
freaking lawn could almost catch on fire.
Yeah.
Mark is coming, but he said it might be like right as we're starting.
What'd you buy this weekend?
Oh, it was a bad weekend. I fell off the wagon.
Oh, did you?
I left home at 3:30 yesterday morning. I was at my first flea market east of Madison, just at daylight. And I bought stuff there for a couple hours, and then I headed down by Lake Geneva to Elkhorn and bought the rest of the day.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it was embarrassing. I didn't know I needed all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
It was, oh, the amount of stuff that people had for sale was overwhelming.
You know, you can say no. Or you don't have to raise your hand.
No, this was flea market. where
Oh, they sell it, you buy it.
You bargain with them.
No, they, yeah,
Where do
they
you
do.
take with
Okay.
you? Your truck?
I've
Me
been to
when I was-
several in the last
That way you can
couple
only buy
So
so
much?
Just grabbed one from there, just because I don't have a printer at home.
Yeah, you are a little limited.
Well, I saw you, I'm here about what it was, about that, somebody. It's coming right out by the police.
Oh, the amount of people at Elkhorn, Wisconsin, you'd swear it was the out-of-state fair.
Really?
There was that many people there buying stuff.
It's $5.57.
Yeah, I guess. so.
What was it, that was it like a special event thing going?
Oh, no, it's, they do 3 or 4 times a year. And it's only on a Sunday. And you can go through the gates at 7 in the morning, and by 4 o'clock, it's over. If you walk hard all day long, you won't get by probably a third of the vendors. There's that many vendors selling.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
When are you gonna have your sale?
It won't be any more today.
When are you gonna have your sale?
My kids asked me that very same question.
They wouldn't need more than just him as a vendor.
No, we want
They,
to, it's 18 sheds in France.
They have voiced their concern.
You don't have a gambling problem, you got you're a hoarder.
Well, it's a selective hoarding.
Yeah.
But, yeah, thanks for bringing that to my attention. I was just starting to feel better about myself, and then you threw that on me. This guy's, you gotta watch.
I know, jeez.
He goes right for your
I came
throat.
in the other day to visit Deanna, but there was another gentleman in there and I didn't want to listen to him, so I just left.
And that would have been,
Henry.
oh my, oh,
Okay, so
God.
I just have a dumb question. So
Yeah.
Weber, so say someone's not here, like they're ask you,
I just had
would
to
I
come
even
back
do
some
roll
other
call?
day.
Yeah, just say, and then if he shows up at 6:05, then you would just say in the minutes, like.
Showed up
whether-
what time?
Yeah.
But would I, if he's not here, would I say his name though, like during roll call, or would I just skip over him?
I mean, either
Does it
way.
matter?
I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. You can skip over him since you know he's not here.
Okay,
or-
cool.
Yeah.
That works for me.
It's always funny when I see the spots.
Or like, if someone attends by phone, gosh, then I would put that in minutes.
Yes, I did see some of her notes
Yeah.
about that.
How are we doing for time?
It's 6:00. Oh.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our Monday, September 30th, 2024 Cascade City Council meeting. And I'd also like to welcome our returning member, Deanna, and our newest member, Sammy. Welcome.
Thank you.
Applause. That's good. We'll have a call to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Oliphant, here. Hush. Gail,
Here.
Delaney.
Here.
Need a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Oliphant,
Second.
second by Hush. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, we'll have public comment. You have a limit of 3 minutes per person on agenda items and local government issues. Seeing none, we'll go to the consent agenda. Minutes, City Council 9/3/24, 9/5/24, 9/9/24, 9/11/24, 9/19/24, September 30th, 2024 claims, Cascade Economic Development Corporation minutes of 8/28/24, FEH Design Field Report, Cascade Public Library of 9/10/24. Any questions on the consent agenda? Seeing none. Number 7, resolution number 97.
Make a motion. Gotta
Oh,
make a motion on the
motion.
consent agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Delaney,
Second.
second by Oliphant. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, resolution number 97-24, resolution approving fire department volunteer compensation for fiscal year '25. Anything?
No, just that normally it's $5,000, but they could only produce reimbursements for the, whatever it is, 40,000, whatever. Yeah,
40,
so that's
yeah.
why we're only reimbursing that amount instead of the 5,000.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Delaney,
I'll second it.
second by
Gail.
Gail, yeah. Roll call?
Oliphant,
Aye.
Hush,
Aye.
Gail,
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Number 8, consideration of ordinance number 22-24, correction of library trustee terms, and this is the first reading.
So this was another situation where, because the code, whatever happened with the codification, it's in the code as 6 years, but it's actually 3 years, and so we need to pass an ordinance to put it back to the 3 years.
I think that makes sense, that it's a shorter time period, that it might get more people to, show interest in it. Is there any questions about that?
And do we have a plan for, is it going to be staggered okay still?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Oliphant,
Second.
second by Delaney, roll call.
Hush,
Aye.
Gail,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Oliphant.
Aye.
Number 9, resolution number 98-24, resolution approving pay application number 5 for the Highway 136 project to Midwest Concrete Incorporated for $473,663.51.
Just have a quick question. The only change order so far has been for the size of the pipe. Is that correct?
Yes, as far as I've seen, there was just one change order for the,
For $28,000?
yes, yep.
Okay.
That was the only one.
Yeah, that's what it shows anyway.
If there's no other questions, I need a motion.
I'll make motion.
Motion by Delaney,
I'll second it.
second by Oliphant, roll call.
Gale,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Oliphant,
Aye.
Weber. Hush.
Aye.
Number 10, resolution number 99-24, resolution approving temporary employment for the city of Cascade.
So I think this is necessary for us to have something in place. So we have maybe an idea of when that person will maybe be done working for us. And we need to make sure that we're compensating her accordingly and compensating her for the time that she spends on the road also, so.
I mean, that's over and above what you'd consider somebody that you'd want to have done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, considering this person is a big part of the reason we're in the situation we're in, I disagree with this completely. I think that what she was making before is fine, and I'm not willing to go a time and a half for that.
Any other concerns?
I think we're lucky to have somebody fill in and help in our transition at this point. More than fine for somebody that's obviously working 40 hours somewhere else to help out at the city of Cascade. That time and a half.
I think it's not about, I mean, circumstances are what they are, and we have somebody who is training in there right now, and we want all the help we can get. So I think we kind of have to take that into account and move forward with it.
Any other comment? Seeing none, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the temporary employment.
Motion by Gale,
Second.
second by Hush, roll call.
Delaney,
Aye.
Oliphant,
Nay.
Weber,
Aye.
Hush,
Aye.
and Gale.
Aye.
Number 11, discussion on feeding stray animals and attracting wild animals to town. This is in regard to the
Yes.
skunks.
Yes, this is the skunks and
Okay. I'm coming up here to discuss this on behalf of some of the neighbors in my neighborhood.
Name?
I'm Rachel Callahan. I live at 508 First Avenue West. It has come to light, just in the last year, I've only lived there for about 2 years, but I have noticed skunk smell the last couple years, but just a couple weeks ago, I noticed when I was outside with my dogs, there was a skunk close, very close in my yard, so I did notice that. That was the first time I've seen it. Went online and just like kind of put my voice out there, how to get rid of, saw a skunk. I'm worried, it might spray the dogs that my dogs in the yard or my kids being out there. Well, kind of lit a fire under a lot of neighbors in the neighborhood, and there was quite a bit to say about the skunk smell and the skunk being in the yards. I guess this has been going on for quite a while, the skunk problem. I don't know if it's feeding animals, stray animals, or if it's just a problem in the area of our side of town. I get kind of both ways from people.
They're on the other side of town, too.
Okay.
It's the whole town.
Okay, so I don't know how we can, I know that Fred had said that they put some traps in town. We had notified him. I just wanted to know if there was any other way or any other ideas of getting rid of this problem. If, feeding animals, stray animals is
The
part
one
of
thing
this.
they're looking for is grubs in your lawn.
Right, and I kind of researched it, and it says to keep your lawns neat and tidy, and to, try to keep your vulnerable areas kind of shut up so they can't crawl under those areas. So I just wanted to bring that forth, that problem. Another problem is that I can't even open my windows. I don't know, a lot of neighbors have a problem with that smell, but the other night I couldn't even open them and leave them open. I mean, it was so bad. I had to put the fans reverse to blow the
They
skunk
they
smell.
did that along my house a week ago.
Yeah, it's just terrible.
And the windows
I mean,
weren't open.
Yeah,
and
it's
it
bad,
was-
and
it would
I
wake
just would
you
like
up.
maybe a little bit more,
Does that sound bad?
some more problem solving for that to be brought to the table. Another neighbor that isn't there at the time anymore, but she said that she's seen them go in and out of the storm drain like stray cats. So, I don't know. Is there anything that we can talk about to resolve this? Jackie is my neighbor. She also had something to talk, piece to bring to the table about this one.
Jackie Aitchison, I live at 504 First Avenue. 2 years ago, when my puppy was only 1, she got sprayed by a skunk, and I didn't know what was happening. Rachel asked me this story because she brought this up. And she came inside, like, freaking out and gagging, so I thought she swallowed an acorn. I don't know what was happening. So I reached my hand down to try to pull it out, and then I realized that she was sprayed by a skunk after she was in my house for like 5 minutes, and we were freaking out. And for 2 weeks, I had to like deep clean my house. I had to take 2 days off of work just to clean my house. I had to throw away stuff. My arm smelled for 2 weeks. My house smelled for 5 months, but I can still smell it sometimes. And she still smells, and I probably spent like $2,000 just cleaning my house, not counting the stuff that I had to throw away. I had to wash all my clothes. It was a show. But yeah, it needs to be taken care of. Like, I don't know if there's a proactive thing we can do to get rid of them, something. But that was my skunk story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fred, are we able to set traps?
We actually have live traps out. And then we have several citizens that have purchased live traps. Part of our problem is when you go to
Move
pick
the
a skunk
trap.
out of a live trap,
Yeah.
a lot of times you get sprayed or there's a spray. We've had incidents, this year at the beginning of spring on the southwest side, we had a guy put a trap out because he thought he was having a cat running through his backyard, caught a skunk, was able to put a tarp over it, put it on a trailer, and moved it down to the compost site. Let me know the next day that it was down there. I went down, got rid of the skunk, told him it was done and he could go pick his trap up. About a week later, he had another one and it sprayed in the trap, so his whole backyard stunk. Up on the northwest side, about the same time, we had a guy that put live traps out because rabbits were eating his flowers and all that, and lo and behold, he walked around the corner and here's a skunk in his live trap. And that was his personal live trap. But we have 2 of them out right now. Part of the problem is, and it's just not the skunks this year. We've dealt with raccoons, we've dealt with possums. Probably, I'm gonna say sometime between 8 and 10 years ago, down in my neighborhood, we had a lady that lived in those little duplexes on Monroe and Fifth. And she kept calling, complaining about the possums that were always on her front porch. You know, they'd come walking right up the steps. So I went down there and lo and behold, yeah, we put a live trap there, we caught a possum, but the reason the possums were there is because she was feeding the stray cats. When we had the trailer court kind of in that area where those other duplexes are and going north on Tyler Street, we had one guy down there that had 38 cats. I've told people, stop feeding the strays. Especially this lady with the possums several years ago, she quit putting the food out, all of a sudden the possums disappeared. They didn't have a food source, so they didn't come there.
Sure.
Just this afternoon, talked to a guy down in my neighborhood, and he was kind of complaining about his kind of backyard neighbor. She puts out food for cats, and he said she goes through about 40 pounds of cat food a week. And then goes in and gets 4 gallons of milk. But he said the only problem is in their backyard, they have this shed to level it off, they had to raise the back end up, and there's a gap under there. Said they have a dog house in their backyard that the cats go into regularly, and he said, I'm sure that there are other animals going in there, but he said 3 or 4 times a week, he sees skunks going underneath that shed. And when I was talking to him this afternoon, I said, well, how many cats are you seeing over there? Anywhere from 15 to about 25. He said this morning was an exception. He said, I started counting them, there was 39 cats in her backyard.
Oh my God.
This lady catches them and neuters them, but then she continues to put the food out. As long as that food source is there, you're gonna get the possums, you're gonna get the raccoons, you're gonna get the skunks. And that's what we've been dealing with for a few years. We've only got the 2 live traps. I mean, we can get more, but it's, as long as people are feeding them, they're just, think those animals are gonna be attracted. So, and I mean, it's probably a good thing. They think they're doing something by feeding these stray cats. Really, they're not.
That's what mice are for.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest, you guys know I have horses. I keep them south of town. That guy goes to Arizona every winter, and several years ago, when he goes, I'd always keep one of my older horses in the stall over in the barns, so I'd feed his barn cats. He'd go for 6 weeks, he'd buy 6 40-pound bags of food. It got to the point where I'd go to step in the barn, I'd have to grab a scoop shovel and move the cat crap away from the front. Now I go through 2 bags in the 6 weeks. He used to complain he had mice in his house all the time. Since I quit feeding his cats so much, guess what? He hasn't had a mouse in his house since, and he lives out in the country. There's fields all around him. So the cats are out doing their job. If the cats are left alone, they'll find a food source. They will. So, matter of fact, this guy this afternoon, I talked to him, he was telling me last spring, he thought it was real unusual. He had a bush next to his house, and he noticed that there was some dirt kicked up kind of around underneath the bush. And he got watching one day, and there was a fox that was going into this bush. But here to find out, it was Mama Fox with babies. The reason she was there is all she had to do was walk through his backyard to get to the food source. So, yeah, I think the best thing we can do is if we start educating people right now and telling them, you're not doing these animals any favor by feeding them. If you stop feeding them, they'll find a food source, they'll move on. Then the raccoons will move on, the possums will move on, and the skunks will move on. As long as they've got an active food source, we're not going to get ahead of it.
Can I say one thing about that? A lady that lived there 7 years ago said that she had the same problem but never got fixed.
Well, and one thing I was going to tell you is you have a neighbor that he's either a house or 2 down from you. Several years ago, we had both live traps at his house, and for 10 days to 2 weeks, he was calling me 3 and 4 times a day. Cat would be in one trap, I'd go grab the trap, take it away, put it back. A couple hours later, he'd call me, I got another cat.
There's tons of cats.
Yeah.
What are the options? I mean, I am a huge cat lover. We have several of them at our house, and I mean, I hate to suggest euthanizing them, but like, is that an option? What are we doing if it's causing this problem?
Tell the people not to feed them.
Yeah, it's an option to do that, but then we're probably going to deal with somebody like PETA, you know, and you do have the people that will take, like I said, the one lady that had 39 cats, she's catching the cats, she's neutering them, and she's releasing them again so they don't reproduce. But the food source is still there for them. The big thing that we could do is, if people don't stop feeding the cats, we can create an ordinance and maybe fine them.
I thought we had an ordinance for this.
Not
Not
for
for
something
feeding.
like
Not
this,
this?
not for feeding stray animals, no.
In regard to the skunks and raccoons and possums, would that make sense to enlist somebody in town and pay them per catch? When you've got a problem call with, you know, a skunk or a raccoon or possum, that they would live trap and then you'd pay them per?
Well, if they'd want to come for sure and get the skunks, that'd be great. I wouldn't have to deal with that, but.
I mean, that way you've got rid of them.
Yeah, and I do know several years ago, I did some research also, and I talked to a couple other guys that had different animal problems, deer going through their backyard, eating their apple trees. Apple cider vinegar, if you spread it around your deck, will keep a lot of these animals away. Mothballs. We had a guy up on the northwest end that he had a skunk going in and out underneath his deck pretty regularly. So he got a box of I told him to get some mothballs. He took a box of mothballs and threw them underneath his deck. He never saw the skunk again. So, I mean, there are some sources like that, but basically what we're doing is we're just moving them in. So, I mean, if, like, again, food source is the big thing. So,
I think finding them, I'd say finding them is a good.
Well,
Ordinance.
yeah, I think if we start educating right now, maybe we won't have to create the ordinance. I think we probably will in the long run, but I think the big thing is, just starting to talk to people. And I know I've had another guy tell me that there's a lady on the southwest side of town that she goes to one of the other buildings here in town, nowhere near her house. You've seen her, pretty regular. Yeah, pretty regular.
And was told not to do it how many times?
Yeah, and it's not her property where she's feeding these cats. And I actually came back in from doing chores one night and saw her vehicle there and saw the containers of food she had for these cats. And this is every night.
That was daily.
Yeah, every day. And ironically, her husband backed out of his garage and ran over a skunk. So,
I mean, I think we should proceed with an ordinance to stop people feeding stray animals. We've had this discussion before about not feeding stray animals when we were going through all this stuff with how many animals you can have in your house or like legally that you can have. So this isn't the first time this discussion has come up.
so, yeah, I mean, I know it's just not me. Brad has had a citizen on the southwest side, kind of forgot about that until now, but he said he was home one afternoon. It was a little after lunchtime. He looked out and there were 6 skunks in the middle of the road eating something in the middle of the road during the day. So they're that thick over on the southwest side and northwest side. So,
Yeah, my best friend lives over kind of by you, and she said it's terrible.
Yeah, my yard is just destroyed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they dig up grubs. And I know a few years ago we had, out by American, Iowa, they were trying to do grub control out there, and one of the employees said he goes to work every morning and there was a skunk doing grub control for him. It was digging the grubs out of their mulch and everything. He said, oh yeah, it's on a regular basis, it's out there. It was every morning. So we've been fighting it for a while.
The only thing, if you're putting out live traps for nuisance animals that can't differentiate between a domestic and that's the bad thing.
That's the bad thing. Generally, yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's a stray cat, you approach the cage, you're gonna know it's a stray cat or it's friendly or not. I've gone to pick up the cage and almost had a cat take off my fingers. So it's like, yeah, they get gone.
But doesn't the ordinance that we did before, and I apologize, I don't remember it completely, but the one that for domesticated animals, like, it's how many we can have, but also they're not supposed to be like dogs aren't supposed to be let off a leash, and cats aren't supposed to be let outside, correct?
Yeah, we do have
So,
an ordinance on dogs and not running loose.
Yeah.
And they do get out once in a while.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
But, so, yeah. So, good discussion.
How many skunk complaints has there been?
This year? Probably let's just go the last month. I bet we've had over a dozen in the last month.
And how many people haven't told you about them either?
Yeah.
I didn't tell you about mine, and Jillian
Right.
sees one every night
Yeah.
at her house.
Yeah.
And they're up at my place all the time.
Yeah. Well, and this guy I talked to today, he was telling me about the cats, and he said, oh yeah, you see skunks over there. So there's another complaint about, that he sees them on a regular basis. So, and as a matter of fact, last Friday, before I came back in from school zone, Chantel had taken a call. There was this person, I think he was on the southwest side of town, just moved into town, and he was wondering, called in, see if he could shoot skunks. said, I've got this big skunk and it'll walk right up to me.
Really?
It's not afraid of me. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, if the guy calls back, tell him to call us and we'll go down there and take care of it. But, yeah. So, yeah. So they're out there. Yeah, it's nothing to have somebody mention them or make a complaint. Do you have another live trap? Well, both of our traps are out right now, so. But, yeah, if anybody has any suggestions.
Sounds like just stop feeding and everybody do grub control.
That might help.
Everybody do grub control.
But I think the big thing is just, we've got to convince people that they're not just feeding these cats, they're feeding wildlife that's coming into town. Because, hey, they've got a smorgasbord, it's a banquet for them.
Keep all your food indoors.
Yeah, and for that guy to tell me, he looked out this morning and he thought he would count the cats, and there was 39 cats in his neighbor's backyard. Oh my God.
We have a stray cat problem too.
Well,
I mean, we're just
we
feeding
do.
the cat, yeah,
Every
cats
town.
are also have like ringworm and,
Yeah.
just
That's
disease.
what I worry about too.
Be careful about getting too many of the cats, though. We're a river town. If we get rid of all of our cats, we will
Right,
be
I'm
overrun
not
with
saying
mice
get rid
and
of
rats
them.
and snakes, and then there'll be a whole.
They help with the mouse population
They
quite a
do,
bit.
yeah, but that's the thing, if you're not feeding them, they're out mousing.
Yeah, and that's what we want them to do. We want them killing
Can't get rid of all
mice.
of
Yeah.
them, which it sounds like that's what people would like to do, is just shoot them and find people.
Well, I don't know if we want to go
Not
that
at
far.
all.
Years ago, we actually used to have a few farmers that if we caught cats, we could take them out to their farm. We're kind of tapped out on farmers. So if we take mom and cats out there and all of a sudden they've got a batch of kittens, there's 5 or 6 more kittens, and now they've got a bunch of cats, now they've got a cat problem. You know, so I actually caught a couple of them and gave them to a guy south of town, and he said he opened up the live trap, and he said he never saw the cat again. It went out through his yard and out through the field, and boom, it was gone. But hey, hopefully it didn't make it back to town. So it was about 5 miles out of town. So. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
Any ideas?
Stop feeding the cats.
Yep. Josh put something in the Pioneers this week, stop feeding the cats.
I mean, do we reevaluate this in a month and see if the problem if people stop feeding actually stop feeding the cats, and then reevaluate? If there's still a massive problem, then we do come up with an ordinance?
It seems like the skunks are always a problem this time of year anyway.
For some reason
because of the grubs,
Yeah.
you know. But that's not a bad idea.
I mean, is that what we want to do? Like, do a public service announcement or something to the community and then,
See where we're at in a month.
yeah, and then reevaluate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like we can just like let this go, because I've had way too many people come up and talk to me about this. I don't,
We've had a lot of calls at City Hall.
yeah, I bet. So can we like put a reminder, Deanna, to discuss this and at the beginning, the first meeting in November? Thanks.
See if we get more feedback.
Yeah.
Yep.
See if,
Thank you. Number 12, this is information only, a request for proposal for downtown master plan. The economic development has dollars.
Well, we have that grant that we were
Yeah.
awarded, the 28,000. So this is just going out to secure a firm to do that master plan for us. So if you guys reviewed the RFP, if there was any suggestions, if there was, I can get that to them before they actually send this out. And then, once the deadline is passed, the city will be involved in reviewing the RFPs and, helping decide whatever we decide to hire, so.
We've kind of done some of them in the past.
Well, we've had assessments done, yes, yeah.
I think what's important, I was at the meeting last week in economic development. I think what was important was, as Nick Callahan brought up, it seems like a lot of these, they get this big, huge plan and whatever, usually a very costly plan at that, and whatever. And I think what we're, this, what we're looking at tonight is just the economic development has secured the grant money and whatever, so it's not costing the city anything at this point. But I think the main thing was that we have it so that it can be almost à la carte. In other words,
You can,
who knows?
Phases.
Yeah, they may come up with a, $2 million project,
Yeah.
projects and whatever, that, and it's happened before with the council here. It's like way too big, nobody can handle that. But if they do it a little more à la carte, where, if it's tree planting downtown or certain elements of awnings and buildings or whatever, whatever this thing is, that can be piecemealed out and done over time. There may be grants out there that can, fly over for 3 or 4 years. So that's the important thing, is that we've kind of gone through it before, where all of a sudden it's going to cost everybody a pile of money and whatever. So that was a good addition that Nick came up with on that. So
I like the à la carte idea. I think that's a great idea.
you can pick what you think would work best, and, yeah.
And it's smaller projects versus these humongous.
The big ones are pricey.
And there will be some community meetings, so it's not just, city
Yeah.
council and economic development making decisions. It'll be, the public will have a chance to weigh in on the project and the planning too.
Thank you. Number 13, reports. Fred?
Don't really have a whole lot. Just a couple weeks ago, we had our homecoming, and we had a pretty decent parade. Talked to the officers that worked the football game and to the dance the next night, and we never really had any problems here in town. Things went real well. A little bit of toilet paper around town, but I think that's kind of the standard. So, yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything, so, except for the skunk problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Deanna?
Not a whole lot, but I did, if for some of you probably remember, October is our health insurance renewal month, and I did get the phone call. I don't have the information packets yet, but I did get the phone call that our rates actually decreased 2.1%, so that's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
We had a decrease?
Yeah, we had a decrease. I asked her twice. Am I hearing you right? Because that usually doesn't happen. So later in October, we'll get the renewal packets, and that will come before council for you guys to review and approve. Something else I wanted to bring up, this was brought to my attention, that there was is a training that was scheduled for October 29th from 5:30 to 8:30 concerning planning and zoning, like general overview of that, and it was supposed to be for council, planning and zoning, and board of adjustment. The cost is $750, and the person is coming from Iowa State University. The Board of Adjustment chairman came in and told me that her board does not want to attend, which, I mean, if we make it mandatory, they have to, but were you guys aware of this
Nope.
training? Because it
We
didn't
have
sound
a
like.
meeting invite for it.
We what?
We have a meeting invite on our calendars for it.
So, I guess I'm just asking, is it something that we want to actually continue with, or, I mean, I can probably cancel and, postpone the training, or, because there's other forms of training, I think, through like ECIA or the Iowa League of Cities that we can
That has,
probably,
yeah.
and then it may not cost anything, so. Just kind of getting feedback from you guys, 'cause I wasn't sure about all that. So, anyway, you can think about it, let me know. The city will be flushing hydrants the week of October 21st, so we'll be doing notices and getting it published and advertised so that people are aware. I did apply for the T-Mobile grant for the pickleball group, submitted that today. And then last week, there was a library progress meeting, and we did a walkthrough of the project, and that's the first time I've seen it, and it's amazing. It's
Pretty
gonna be-
impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive, so. That's really all I have.
That's it?
Yeah.
At this time, we'll have public comment. You have a limit of 3 minutes per person, only items on this agenda. Seeing none, need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Delaney,
Second.
second by Oliphant, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.